Number 25, the Haiti Earthquake in 2010. A magnitude 7.0 earthquake that had a depth of 8.1 miles rocked Haiti on January 12, 2010. Its epicenter was located just southwest of Port-au-Prince, with 59 aftershocks ranging from 4.2 to 5.1 magnitudes. The strongest earthquake to hit the country since 1770, it led to over 200,000 deaths, 2 million homeless, and 3 million people in need of emergency aid. Number 24. The Cyclone Nargis in 2008. The first cyclone in 2008 to hit the North Indian Ocean, Cyclone Nargis made landfall in Myanmar and devastated the Irrawaddy Delta region with its 37 townships for 2 days. Official figures showed that 84,000 people were killed, with 53,000 reported missing. Number 23. The Pakistan Earthquake in 2005. The 2005 Pakistan earthquake that registered 7.6 on the Richter scale had its epicenter in Kashmir near the city of Muzaffarabad. It occurred on the morning of October 8, 2005, and the official death toll was 75,000 people, with 106,000 people injured. Number 22. Hurricane Katrina in 2005. The deadliest hurricane to hit the Gulf Coast in 2005, it was ranked as the sixth strongest overall to hit the United States. It was also one of the costliest, with estimated property damages of $81 billion US. Number 21. The Indian Ocean Earthquake in 2004. Also known as the Sumatra Andaman Earthquake, it was estimated to be a magnitude 9.5 and occurred on December 26, 2004. While the earthquake itself lasted for only 10 seconds, it caused a tsunami that killed 200,000 people along the shores of Indonesia, Sri Lanka, South India, and Thailand, with one death even occurring at Port Elizabeth in South Africa, 8,000 miles away from the epicenter. Number 20. Nevado del Ruiz volcano eruption in 1985. Also famed as La Mesa del Joveo, this stratovolcano holds the distinction of causing the second largest volcano-related disaster of the 20th century. The volcano, which generally creates Plinian eruptions or swift-moving currents of hot gas and rock called pyroclastic flows, produced an enormous flow that buried and devastated the town of Armero in Tolima in November 13th of 1985. What came to be known as the Armero tragedy caused the death of 25,000 people. Number 19. The Tangshan Earthquake in China, 1976. The Great Tangshan Earthquake struck China on July 28, 1976, causing the death of 240,000 people and injuring 164,000 more. Regarded as the deadliest earthquake of the 20th century, it also rocked, both literally and politically, the seat of the Chinese Communist Party in Beijing. Number 18. Hurricane Andrew in 1993. Due to the massive destruction that caused 65 fatalities and $26 billion in property losses, this became the fifth costliest hurricane in U.S. history after Hurricane Katrina, Wilma, and Ike, with the name Andrew retired from the hurricane names list in the spring of '93. Number 17. The Tohoku Earthquake and Tsunami of 2011. A 9.0 magnitude quake followed by tsunami waves hit the east coast of Japan on March 11th of 2011. With a depth of 24 kilometers, this was the largest earthquake to ever strike Japan in recorded history. Documented as the seventh largest earthquake in the world, it led to about 15 million dead or injured and 2,000 people missing. It also affected 18 prefectures with over 250,000 buildings damaged or destroyed and caused a near nuclear disaster when there was a partial meltdown in 3 reactors of the Fukushima nuclear plant. Number 16. The Aleppo Earthquake of 1138. Sometimes referred to as the deadliest earthquake in history, it occurred on October 11, 1138, and was named after the city of Aleppo in Syria, now called Halab. Its death toll was approximately 250,000 people as the city was destroyed along with its surrounding areas. Number 15. The Haiyuan Earthquake of 1920. Also known as the 1920 Gansu Earthquake, this is the fourth worst earthquake ever recorded next to the Antioch Earthquake in the year 526. With a death toll of 240,000 people, this quake occurred on December 16, 1920, with its epicenter in Haiyuan County in the Ningxia province of China. Number 14. The Antioch Earthquake of 526. The third worst earthquake disaster in the world happened in the year 526 and may have probably struck late in May, between the 20th and 29th, as there is no specific date on record. This major earthquake hit Syria and Antioch with a death toll between 250,000 and 300,000 people. Number 13. The Bola Cyclone of 1970. Reaching wind speeds of 185 kilometers per hour, the bola cyclone in Bangladesh led to over $490 million in damages, destroying 85% of the homes in the region. It also fetched storm surges that wiped out entire villages, killing 45% of the population in Tazamuddin. Nearly 500,000 people perished. Number 12. New Zealand Earthquake of 2011. Also known as the Christchurch Earthquake, this magnitude 6.3 quake that occurred on February 22, 2011, severely damaged New Zealand's second largest city. It also killed 185 people. 238 were reported missing and 164 patients were treated for injuries. One of the nation's deadliest peacetime disasters, this caused significant damage to Christchurch and the central Canterbury region, with an estimated $16 billion worth of damages. Number 11, the Afghanistan blizzard in 2008. The second worst blizzard in modern history after the Iran blizzard with regards to casualties. It had an estimated death toll of 1,300 people due to temperatures that fell below negative 30 degrees Celsius with up to 180 centimeters of snow in the mountainous regions. Some were frozen to death, a number died when their vehicles were blocked by snowdrifts, and at least 100 people underwent frostbite amputations in hospitals across the country. It's also claimed that more than 100,000 sheep and goats and 315,000 cattle died. Number 10, the East Africa drought of 2011. The worst drought in 60 years, the Horn of Africa experienced a severe drought since mid-July of 2011 with an estimated 12.4 million people in need of food. It resulted in a food crisis across Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia, and Djibouti, threatened the livelihood of more than 9.5 million people, and caused widespread death and famine. Number 9. The North Korean famine of 1994. Recognized as the Arduous March, this famine that devastated North Korea from 1994 to 1998 had an estimated death toll of between 250,000 people and 3.5 million people, caused by starvation and hunger-related illnesses. Out of its 24 million people, 5 million are malnourished, including 800,000 children with 80,000 on the brink of starvation. Everyone felt the impact of the famine, but those who were further from the capital suffered greater. Food assistance was given by the United States, Japan, South Korea, China, and other European Union countries, which continued until 2002 when the North Korean government requested to stop the deliveries of these food supplies. Number 8. The European heat wave, 2003. In spite of its continental climate, Europe's not too used to scorching hot summers, so when the 2003 European heat wave struck, it resulted in a health crisis in several countries, as well as a drought which led to crop shortages, especially in Ukraine, where 75% of wheat crops were lost. The hottest since 1540, at least 4,000 casualties were recorded in France alone, with victims coming from old people in nursing homes or single-family homes with no air conditioning systems. The extreme temperatures also dried up most of Europe, which resulted in forest fires and counterintuitively even flooding. Number 7. The Yangtze River floods of 1931. When torrential rains hit southern China in August of 1931, it caused the Yangtze River to flood, killing nearly 3.7 million people. This was considered the worst natural disaster of the 20th century. Number 6. The Mozambique Flood of 2000. Occurring between the months of February and March in 2000, the catastrophic flooding was caused by torrential rainfall that lasted for 5 weeks. It made many people homeless as it affected 1,400 square kilometers of arable land, killing 800 people and 20,000 cattle. Number 5. The North American smallpox epidemic of 1775. While the Revolutionary War was reshaping society and politics along the eastern seaboard, the Great Smallpox epidemic was ravaging the entire North American continent from 1775 to 1782. Caused by a contagious virus known as variola major, the initial signs of smallpox came 12 days after exposure, where early symptoms included backache, fever, headache, vomiting, and general malaise. While there have been devastating outbreaks of smallpox from the time of early Spanish exploration, none were as fully documented as this one. Number 4. The Great White Plague of the 1600s. This tuberculosis epidemic in Europe during the 17th century lasted for nearly 200 years. It was the leading cause of death in 1650 and very likely propagated due to poor sanitary conditions. Number 3. Gujarat Earthquake of 2001. This earthquake happened on India's 51st Republic Day celebration on January 26, 2001. The quake, which had a magnitude between 7.6 and 7.7, lasted for over 2 minutes with the epicenter about 9 kilometers south-southwest of the Chibari village. It resulted in a death toll of 20,000 people, injured 160,000, and destroyed almost 500,000 homes. It also caused major shockwaves that spread 700 kilometers, with 21 districts being affected. Number 2, the Black Death of 1348. An epidemic that swept through Europe from 1348 to 1351. It killed an estimated 25 to 60% of Europe's population, though some estimates were higher, which would mean somewhere between 75 million to 200 million people. Also known as the Great Mortality or the Pestilence, it was the second plague pandemic of the Middle Ages, next to only the Justinian plague of the 6th century. And number 1, the Spanish influenza of 1918. The first wave of the Spanish flu, which is one of several types of influenza viruses, might have begun in March of 1918 and began to spread throughout Asia, Europe, and North America. A contagious illness, it was responsible for the death of 20 million to 40 million people, though other estimates range from 40 million to 100 million. If you liked the video you just saw, then feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel by using the orange button in the top right. And don't forget to go check out our website at list25.com for more awesome lists.